Hello loves, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be breaking down the full moon in Pisces that's happening on September 20th, 2021, and we have quite a bit to talk about, so we're going to get right into it. We're going to start with the planetary positions. We're going to talk about the spell guide, what I think you should be doing on this day, and we're going to look at the cards as well. So planetary positions: the sun will be in Virgo, moon will be in Pisces, Mercury will be in Libra, Venus will be in Scorpio, Mars will be in Libra, Jupiter and Saturn will be in Aquarius in retrograde, Uranus will be in Taurus in retrograde, Neptune will be in Pisces in retrograde, Pluto will be in Capricorn in retrograde. Okay, so that's the generational planets are still retrograding, so there's still a lot of stuff going on with us collectively as peoples. We're all going through a lot of generational movements and shifts together as much as individually as well. So the first major aspect that we need to talk about is the sun in opposition to the moon. So Virgo and Pisces are both mutable signs, but they are definitely, energetically speaking, on this day they're going to be opposing each other as far as the sun being in Virgo, the ego, especially when it comes to healing, while the moon being in Pisces opposing each other. Pisces being very much of a focus on spirituality, dream work, lies as well. Keep that in mind, because I feel like lies and things coming to light are a big theme for this specific moon. Just looking at the chart and like with the cards that came up, lying and clarity and are a really big theme for the specific moon, so keep that in mind. There is an opposition to the ego, what needs to be healed versus what is perceived, what is felt. Your intuition might be pushing you into the corner for this specific moon, and you might feel a little bit spiritually attacked, especially by some of the messages that you receive, especially with dreams. I feel like dreams have been building for quite some time, especially last week to now, where this full moon will just be blossoming in. Dreams have been building. The focus on dreams have been building, and there's been a lot of messages that have been very much passed down through dreams as of late. So definitely pay attention to your dreams and what's coming up, and the different what you can take from it, the different messages that are hidden in there, because there's a lot that our ego is currently going through that we're emotionally feeling, spiritually feeling, but you might not be able to put words on it so clearly. And that's because there is this kind of acceptance that hasn't happened between the ego and the moon, and that's where the opposition's energy is like pushing that through. The sun will also be in conjunction to Mars. Okay, so when the sun is in conjunction to Mars, you see this very much in alignment kind of energy, where it's just like we're on the same page. We can agree and we can move forward. Now, because Mars's energy is seen as an expression, is the action of the ego. So Mars is, as a planet, is what actually makes whatever it is that your ego is feeling actually act on the thing. And because Mars right now is in Libra, and we have a focus on balance, and while Virgo has a focus on healing and like that calibration of healing, there is a focus on kind of getting it together, y'all. There's a focus on getting it together. There's a focus on seeking peace, seeking balance, seeking harmony, and not being trapped in like a kind of harmful routine kind of energy, because there is that kind of aspect of especially with the conjunction of the sun and the moon, where things are not necessarily, we're still fighting some aspect of the transformation that spirit is like, you need to go into this, and you're just like, but it irritates me. So it's important to understand that ultimately you'll be pushed into that balance whether you like to or not. This also makes it so working with the air element is absolutely important. The bottom of the deck for this specific moon is the Queen of Swords. So when I say like we need to be working with air as an element, and do not forget that I classify Virgo as grounded air. It is an earth sign, but I classify it as a grounded air sign because it is very much Mercury ruled, so it's very much with the mind, but it rules the physical body. So there is elements of the earth that is implied, but it's a little bit of both. It's both. Like if you're looking at them as twins, they're halves and halves of the same whole. So personally, this is why I'm saying that balance and seeking that balance. There's that calibration that is happening energetically, mentally, spiritually, physically speaking, that we're getting pushed into. The sun will be in a trine with Saturn, okay? And this is definitely going to make it so we are karmically, egotistically, we're going to be karmically having to process certain things. This might be on a personal level where you need to accept certain things that you personally have done, or you need to accept that certain things that you're not going to get, that you kept fighting for, but you're not going to get because spiritually it's not meant for you. This is one of those times where sorry, I just filmed the Santa Muerta video and I was talking so much, y'all. So anyway, it's one of those things where right now we're going to be karmically tapping into how our ego has been wasting time. That includes with things that we've been trying to invest in that we absolutely know it's just not going to work. Like, for example, if you've had a crush on someone for like straight up 8 months and they keep kind of playing with your feelings, but it doesn't go anywhere, you know you're wasting your time with that person and you're still kind of entertaining it. This is when Saturn's like, okay, you know you can't invest anything into this, so why are you keep pushing this? Why do you keep doing this? So it's important to understand how our ego is being pushed karmically right now, because there is a lot of karmic acceptance that is happening as well. Now, the sun will also be in an opposition to Neptune, okay? So ego-wise, we're going to be almost like repelling or trying to not be in the same page with the way that we are personally perceiving the messages that we're getting for spirit, because again, Neptune rules spirituality, dreams, the subconscious mind, right? And so when it comes to like the dreams and the messages that we're getting from our dreams, you might quite literally feel personally attacked by some of the messages that you're going to be getting, and you're just gonna have to accept that. You're gonna have to actually just dissect the dreams for what they are and actually come to terms with them as well. So it's really important to break it down and not take everything so personally, but mainly seek that balance, seek that calibration, seek that balance within the ego, so we're not in turmoil for like what we need to heal personally, because we're still in Virgo season. We're still going through the healing process, and so instead of fighting what needs to be healed, accept what needs to be healed. So the sun will also be in a trine with Pluto, because there's a lot of ego transformation, and that should be one of the themes for the specific moon. But there is a kind of coming all, like a culmination of, you know, the breaking point, the conclusion, the reflection. And because Pisces rules reflection, it rules being in a state of reflection. Like for example, if you're an artist and you're writing a song about your ex, you're reflecting on your experience with your ex, and you're writing that down, and you're pouring all your emotions into it. That's what I mean by it rules the energy of reflection. And so right now there is a lot of healing that needs to happen, where the moon is itself, while Pisces moons tend to be very kind of like chill, relaxed, this moon might feel a little bit more like it has a little bit of some pepper, some kick, like somebody added some cayenne or something like that, because there's almost going to be like this very self-aware, like getting called out kind of vibe, energy kind of thing to it. So keep that in mind, because it makes it so like when the sun is in trine with Pluto, our egos are in alignment with transformation, but a lot of the other placements are like, but do I want to go through this? Do I want to do this? Is this what I want to do? So it's really important to understand that we are going to have a reaction, and it might feel a little bit like our reflections that we're having, breaking down our dreams, breaking down the messages, accepting, you know, some truths about certain situations, healing from those certain situations, are not going to feel necessarily the easiest to go through. And so be gentle with yourself. Moons in Pisces are a really important time to be very gentle with yourself. The moon will be in an opposition to Mars, okay, and this is going to make it so emotionally, an opposition is basically when the planets are opposing each other, they're not in good terms. Moon ruling our emotional energy, Mars ruling our actionatory energy, so passion, drive, action is all Mars. So our moon is definitely not going to be on the same page as our actionatory energy, so we might have issues expressing ourselves in a very clear way, and we might actually lash out a little bit, or, you know, use some of the more lower vibrational energies that Pisces also rules, like lying. So if somebody asks you, hey, how do you really feel about this, and it kind of exposes you in some way, you might lie. You might choose to self-protect yourself and just lie, so you don't have to, you know, expose yourself, expose your feelings, expose how you truly feel about the thing. So keep that in mind. There is this kind of, you know, misalignment there when it comes to your emotions and you creating action towards what it is that you are trying to express. So keep that in mind, because there might be a little bit of friction or feeling uncomfortable that is highlighted during this day. The moon will also be in conjunction with Neptune, because Neptune is also in Pisces. And so there is a lot that can be done spiritually. It's a great time for a spiritual bath. It's a great time to make sure that you're emotionally feeling in a good place, you emotionally feel good, that you're not feeling stuck or feeling like too drained. Like if you're emotionally feeling drained, you need to make sure you recharge your batteries, make sure you're hydrated, make sure you're, you know, cooking yourself a nice meal, make sure you're consuming something that is worthwhile to your body. But really make sure you're hydrated. I'm telling you, this is a really important time for a spiritual bath, and that's one of the things I'm going to recommend for the spell guide. If you're going to do anything, spend some time by the lakes, the rivers, but also possibly, you know, take a spiritual bath, drink some tea, work with herbs, work with the spiritual components of herbs, activate their magic, activate their energies, so that they can help you go through this kind of emotional transit right now. But this is a really, really great time for emotionally tapping in, working on any type of spell that has to do with your spiritual development in any capacity. If you wanted to learn something new, or if you wanted to grow spiritually, or there's a skill or a modality that you personally wanted to grow or do, or you know, get to learn or do, this is a great time to kind of focus on those intentions as well, or work with spirits specifically to help you develop spiritually as well. Mercury will be in a trine with Jupiter. Okay, so our words are going to be very, very important when it comes to spell work. I highly recommend affirmations, I highly recommend scripting, I highly recommend doing your petitions, your prayers, because when Mercury is in a trine with Jupiter, that means our words are golden. We need to be careful of every single thing we state for those 2.5 days while the moon is in Pisces, because you can work with the energy of the moon for the 2.5 days that is transiting in Pisces. So be very mindful of how you're speaking, okay? How you're speaking, how you're thinking about certain things. Maybe even if you needed to like detach a little bit, go on hermit mode and kind of detach yourself from other people, so you don't have certain judgments for other people. Sorry, I keep moving the I keep kicking the damn thing. So you don't have any kind of resentments or anything like that. Maybe you might need to detach a little bit. This is a good time to do that, so that way you can focus in on the things that you actually want to attract when it comes to manifestation or road opening work, or just a general like cleansing and blessing and just kind of cleaning out the clutter. Mercury will also be in a square with Pluto, so this is one of those times where like what we need to set intention for right now is actually within divine timing. It's needed. It's been needed for like quite a couple of months now, but right now is the time where it's like, no, we actually need to go through this process. We need to mentally accept that we are now going through this transitional process that is going to push us into that Phoenix transformational phase. So there's definitely a lot that's happening with especially with domination work. This is one of those times that if you wanted to do some domination work on someone, you might have some issues just because of this Mercury square Pluto, because you don't want Mercury to be squaring Pluto while you're trying to dominate someone, because Pluto is a planet of manipulation. So this might not be the time to do that type of work. If you're working with spirit that specifically is great for manipulation that you work with, maybe not light a candle for manipulation during this time for that specifically. Unless it has to do with your ego, then that's when you're going, like on you personally, then that will work best. But working for other people right now, not the best, especially with the square. It's just not the best time to do that, so be very mindful about that as well. Venus will be in a square with Saturn, and Venus will also be in opposition to Uranus. Okay, so when it comes to our pleasure, our love, our money, the way we're feeling, there is a little bit of friction with the generational planets, which are all in retrograde. So you have to keep in mind that some of the things that you might not, if you don't feel well on this day, it definitely comes from this, but it also comes from the fact that, you know, there are certain things that just have been accumulating energetically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally within your energies, that now is the time that you need to clear that. And if you haven't cleared that, That's when you're going to see this Saturn asking you, like, why are you wasting your time? Why do you continue to give this person your time when you know they're not giving you the same energy back? Why are you doing this? Why don't you just move forward? Why don't you just, you know, set your pleasure in a different direction? Like, actually seek pleasure in a different direction where you'll be able to receive it, okay? Not where you'll be able to, like, be played with or whatever. It's just like there's this focus on looking at and analyzing how you've been spending your time, and if it has brought you any pleasure, have you gained anything from it, right? Now with the Venus in opposition with Uranus, this is when Uranus is like, no, you're not going to get pleasure until you do the thing that you need to do. You're not going to feel good until you do the thing that you know you need to do. And it really comes down to that. Are you going to do it, or are you going to keep wasting your damn time? That's really what it comes down to. Now, with Mars trine Saturn, this is one of those things where karmically we're going to be seeing things happen very quickly, because Mars is very action-based, action-focused, and moves very, very quickly. So when Mars is in a trine with Saturn, karma is handed down a little bit faster than normal. Keep that in mind, because if you've had, you know, some things going on that needed to be sorted out a while ago and have not been, you definitely need to make sure you sort it out, because Saturn is definitely going to create the energy of karma and foundation, and Mars is going to create movement. And so it's like, okay, what has your foundation been this whole time, and what have you been wasting your energy on? Because Mars is pure energy. It moves your ego's energy, and it creates action towards what you want to do. And so this is like a very much a checks and balances feeling. So this is why I highly recommend, this would be a really great time to get a reading by someone. Like, if you wanted to, like, get a reading by someone and see what's going on energetically that you need to work through, so that way you have a better understanding. This would be a great time to do that. This would be a great time to go to therapy. This would be a great time to talk to, like, your best friend or someone who's close to you, or even just sort out your inner dialogue within your own mind, so that way you can better understand why you're going through what you're going through, and what is it that you need to release and let go, etc. But there's definitely a lot of things happening karmically based on our actions. Our actions are everything. If you're going to do any type of candle work during this time, keep in mind there's Mars in trine with Saturn. There's a karmic element to it. And so this is, again, great times for cleansings, great times for to do some scripting, to get your head together, to get your head clear, to express yourself. So you can do some art, you can do some for example, like if you wanted to write the song, if you wanted to do a painting, if you want to express yourself in a way that is healing to you, because it ultimately, creativity is healing. It's a healing practice. It's just people don't see it that way. But if you wanted to, you know, throw yourself into, you know, something that you want to work on, it's a great time to do. This is a great time to do so, and actually see some healing come from it as well. Now, when it comes to the cards, we got a couple of things. When it comes to our oracle cards, we have answered prayer and focus. So if you've been praying for something to clear up, and then, you know, the solution is like spirit saying, no, you can't even be around this person anymore, your prayer has been answered because you found the resolution. Just keep that in mind, because certain things are not going to be all sunshine and rainbows and love and light and none of that. It's not going to be all that. So keep that in mind. We're also getting focused, because there's the energy, like when it comes to looking at our cards, our outcome card is the Fool. Okay, our outcome card is the Fool. So there is this kind of focus energy and kind of wrapping up, tying up the kind of mess that has been done previously speaking. For this specific moon, we have the Page of Pentacles, the Five of Cups, the Hermit. Because again, we're still in Virgo season. We're still focusing on our healing. We're still sorting out the mess and the pain and everything. And we're in a very sensitive spot, y'all. This is not necessarily, you know, the easiest energy to kind of navigate through, because we're feeling very sensitive. We're feeling very, it fluctuates. It's been fluctuating. But then we end with the World and the Fool, two major arcanas. One is a conclusionary one is the card of lessons and Saturn, okay, which we spoke about, Saturn, and then the other one is the Fool, a new beginning, a new journey, starting anew. So you need to understand whatever you do within this moon, there's a reset that's happening. There's a conclusion that will happen. There's a transformation that will happen. This is why the generational planets, all of them being in retrograde, are highlighting the past, which means that you need to sort out your shit. I'll say it as simple as that. You need to sort out your shit. You need to let go of things you need to let go. You need to definitely get clear up here with what it is that you need to get clear. But you should also spiritually make sure you're taking care of yourself. Do a spiritual bath. I'm telling you, do a spiritual bath, and focus on your intentions for the future. So this is when I tell you, do some scripting, do some journaling. If you're going to do some candle work, do like put those intentions in that for the future. Don't just set yourself up for failure and not do anything about it now, okay? But there is this energy, this very much conclusionary energy, where we're put into a position, bottom of the deck, Queen of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles. We're put into a position where we now have to create action and actually ground ourselves in something different. Why? Because we're about to go into Libra season soon. Okay, and Libra season is a whole different beast. We need to make sure that we're in a good place balance wise so that we can benefit from the season. It's the same thing when I said in Cancer season, if whatever you didn't sort through Cancer season, your ego's going to go through it in Leo season, and then Virgo season is going to focus on you trying to heal your ego, trying to get your shit together. And then if you don't heal yourself through Virgo season, Libra season, you're going to be on balance as hell, and the energy is going to be very, very much focused on balance, and you're just like not going to be working with the energy. Okay, so keep that in mind. There's this energy of focus, and to make sure, like, to pay attention to what we've been praying about and how it manifests, because it might not be in the way that you expect it to. We're also getting raise your vibration and reach for the stars, because we are starting again. We're starting anew. We're starting in this full energy. We're moving into a new energy. We are trying to move past some things that we've been needing to for quite a long time. And now is the time that we need to close those doors so we can open new ones. Okay, so definitely make sure your intentions are like very bold and beautiful, but make sure you're cleansed and ready to even like set those intentions in the first place. Okay, so I hope that you guys enjoyed the breakdown. I hope that you guys got all the messages you needed. Definitely don't forget to check out the Patreon down below, or if you want to be a channel member, you can hit the join button down below as well. I would definitely see you loves in the next video. Do not forget to subscribe. Bye.